Right. I'm just going to start this video. I've been sitting here for like 10 minutes trying to figure out how to start. So I thought I might as well just start it and talk and see what happens. So welcome to another video. This is definitely going to be something very different to basically every other video that I've done so far. I mean, it's along the lines of an update. I've done a few update videos. But, this one's got some substance to it. This one's got some changes and some revelations to it, I guess. So, I decided to kind of offer a different presentation straight up right from the get-go in the video because, this is going to reflect some necessary changes and a difference with regards to what's going to happen with the channel going forward. So I think to start off with, I kind of want to reflect that it's been basically exactly 4 months since I uploaded the first video on the channel. Now that's not exactly true because I think I was recording for like 2 to 3 weeks before the first video that you can see on the channel at the moment. And I wasn't in the best state of mind and I wasn't in the best space within myself for those first few weeks, and so I ended up deleting them and starting over, which is funny. But this kind of 4-month thing is it's something I've witnessed repeatedly in my life, that I seem to have this kind of pattern, I guess you would call it, whereby I can put myself in a certain situation, be committed to a certain type of situation and put myself in there and remain there for around about 4 months. Like 4 months seems to be the maximum. There's only a couple other things that I've managed to do in my life that have kind of stretched beyond that. One being the main relationship that I've had with the mother of my kids, which obviously came to an end at some point, but that was like 3 years. But in terms of work, there was one job that I did. I did labouring for about 1.5 years, and aside from that, everything else I've ever tried to do was about 4 months. Anyway, it's not like I planned for it. It's like this kind of undercurrent in my life whereby I reach a point and I realise either I don't want to continue with it, or I've had enough of it, or it wasn't, I got what I wanted out of it, and so I'm ready to move on. Now, that's not quite what's happening here, but anyway, it's just interesting. I've got no script here, so I'm kind of just going with the flow of my own thoughts, so please bear with me. I'll get to the meat of the video probably very soon. Just interesting that it's been 4 months. Like, I'm literally looking right now at the screen that shows me all the videos that I've uploaded. It was the 18th of July. It was the first episode of the No Chill Challenge for State of Decay 2, and it's now the 21st of November, so, it's been basically 3 months exactly, 4 months exactly. So, let's get to the point, I suppose. I've been having a hard time lately, physical health and mental health, and I don't know whether or not, if you've been watching a lot of the videos that I've been putting up, maybe some of you could kind of identify some of the stuff that was going on. I don't know, maybe you hadn't, because it's not like I hide it very well, although I guess maybe I do hide it very well, but I don't hide it on purpose. It's just that it's quite easy for me to compartmentalize my life and put myself in a situation and just be fully absorbed in it and ignore everything else and let everything else go for a short amount of time, to then return to it later on, to sort of put it to the side and, think about it at a later day, or just give it the attention it needs later, and kind of control myself and my emotions at the time in a way where maybe everything kind of seems like it's fine. Part of the reason I do that is because it's not like I'm trying to hide from what's happening, but if I sense there's an undercurrent of, let's say, instability, or there's an issue, or I can sense a problem, probably about a month ago I think I started to sense this on the channel with regards to what I'm doing here, and I've learned over the years that sometimes this happens and it's like a fear or an anxiety, and it's something that's not really real, and so I don't always respond to it. In fact, very often I'll give it very little attention, and because I know over the course I've seen that with anything that's real, you can't hide from it, no matter what you do, no matter how far you try to run from a real issue, truth, reality, you can't hide from it forever. You can mask it, you can ignore it, you can try to hide from it, and you will for a little while, but eventually you have to face facts. Reality slaps you in the face, and it leads to that point, if you allow it to get to that point. But anyway, what I'm getting at is, probably about a month ago, I started to detect a feeling of kind of emptiness with regards to what I was doing here on the channel. And what I mean by that is, this is going to be a bit of a tricky video to make, right? Let me first just say this. I'll get this point out of the way, and then I'll sort of reveal what I think is relevant right now, and then I'll reveal more at a later date. So let me just first say, all right, there's going to be a change coming to the channel. It's a necessary change. It's something that I'm going to have to do in order to be able to continue with the channel, and that's what I want to do. With where I'm at in my life, I really want to and feel like I need to make this work in some capacity, having this channel. I'm going to go more into detail at a later date in about a week. So there's going to be a change. For those of you who may or may not know, hang on, let me rephrase that. I'm going away in like 3 weeks' time. I'm going on like a 2-week break. I'm going over to the other side of the country that I live in, and I'm going to spend some time with family. I'm taking my 2 kids. It's nearly Christmas, so we're going to have an early Christmas with my family. I live in a part of the country where I have no one around me except for my 2 kids, and maybe a couple of close friends at the property that I live at who've been very supportive of me throughout my life. More of that sort of stuff I'm going to go into in about a week's time. But in the background, for like the last week and a half or so, I've been recording some gaming videos, preparing to upload them to the channel in that 2-week period while I'm away in December. I was even going to take a few extra days off because 2 weeks away with my kids by myself can be pretty full on. It's not like it's going to be a very relaxing time. But so I've been pre-recording some videos to go out now because of this change that needs to happen. Those videos, I've got 14 of them. I'm going to put out 2 a day for the next week. What this is going to allow me to do is completely step away from my computer, from technology, from thinking about uploading. I'm going to do it all today, get it set up where they're scheduled to upload, scheduled to release 2 a day for the next week. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go away for this week, not away, but I'm going to go away, step away from the channel, and I'm going to be taking myself back to a kind of lifestyle that I lived quite intensely many years ago, going back probably about, it'll be somewhere in the region of like 10 years now, a bit longer, 10 to 12 years ago. And it's not like I completely detached from that lifestyle at all, but, given like I've got 2 kids now, the last 6-7 years of my life have been extremely chaotic and unstable. My mental health has declined drastically, and specifically over the last like 3 years, my physical health has started to decline. Very specifically over the last like couple of months, my anxiety and the impact that that's having on my body has become extremely obvious to me. And so I don't take any kind of medication. I'm not on any, I have no sort of medical help at all with regards to any of the issues that I have. So everything that I deal with, everything that I encounter, every difficulty I have to deal with it naturally. I have to look at it myself. I don't see a counselor, a psychologist, psychiatrist, or nothing. And it's okay. First of all, I just kind of want to say I'm okay with it. And I'm okay in my life at the moment. It's just, in order for me to be able to continue doing this, a change needs to be made. So let's get to that, I suppose. I'm not going to be able to play this many games. And I've realized that I can't, with regards to the channel and getting it to the point where it becomes what I want it to be and what I need it to be. I basically need the channel to be a reflection of my whole life. My whole life is not gaming. It was for a while. I was absolutely definitely using it as a kind of coping mechanism for dealing with the various stresses that I was experiencing. A lot of this information I'm going to go into in a week's time. I'm going to go away for this week. I know I'm kind of hopping and jumping around here. It's because I haven't got notes. in a week's time, I'm going to be releasing a video that I will have made over the next week, where I'm not uploading anything to the channel. I'm going to be reinitializing and reinitiating a lifestyle, quite a disciplined and I guess unique, or I don't know. I find it interesting. Anyway, you may find it interesting. So this lifestyle. There's a lot to get out. All right. What I'm going to be doing over the next week is going to bring me back to the space mentally, physically, and spiritually that I need to be in. Going forward on the channel, within a week's time, I will be releasing a video that I've made throughout this week. That is going to detail to provide detail with regards to what the channel is going to be doing going forward, and it's going to be a very, very strong representation of the type of content that I will be creating going forward. I don't intend to fully detach from gaming unless I get to the point where I absolutely need to. I love gaming. You know, there's a reason that I wanted to create a gaming channel. Certain elements of playing games I love, but around about a month ago, I started to get this kind of awareness of a sort of empty feeling with regards to gaming. It's like, okay, I'm here, I'm making videos, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm having fun, but video games, they're like an empty reality, aren't they? First of all, we're playing in illusory worlds. We're playing with illusions, which are temporary experiences, and games go offline, etc., etc. Saves get deleted, worlds get wiped, and that's gone. That's all. It's all time that's gone. And not only that, being so kind of restricted physically, on the spot, physically tuned in, hyper involved with the physical, the eyes and the ears, limited to these kind of two senses, stuck in the same spot, immersed in these worlds, which for myself over the last few months, many of which have been incredibly violent on my system, a lot of aggressive, intense content. If you look back over some of the videos, there's some pretty kind of horrific, scary, jump scary, intense gameplay there. And I have massively felt it in my body to the highest degree, a higher degree than I ever have before in my entire life. And this is what has brought me to the point of now realizing that I can't continue. That's not sustainable. It is my intuition, my instinct is that when I bring back a bit of balance, or a lot of balance, after spending probably this week reinitializing a lot of greater balance, I will be able to jump back into a little bit of gaming every now and then. It absolutely will not be what it was, 2, 3, 4 videos a day. It may be a couple videos a week, maybe even one video a week with regards to gaming. A lot of other content I'm going to be doing as well. I am planning on returning to live streaming some of the stuff that I do. A good portion of that every day. Probably not when I've got my kids. Maybe I'll make an allowance if the circumstances are okay and the kids are all right with it. But, it's tough kind of doing this sort of stuff when you've got kids around and you're doing it by yourself. But that's the gist of the message. I understand this is definitely not going to be what a lot of people have kind of subscribed to the channel for. People who are really just interested in seeing gameplay. Then what we're doing going forward is probably not going to be for you. I want a little bit of my coffee. Give me a second. So that's something, all I would say is maybe stick around for a week. You're going to get another 14 gaming videos anyway. Stick around for the week and check out the video that I do release in about a week's time to see whether or not it's the kind of thing you want to see. If not, please feel free to unsubscribe from the channel. And, I'm kind of happy that I've gotten to this point where the channel's not monetized yet. I'm about halfway there with regards to subscribers. And I'm happy that I've kind of hit this barrier now and not, in a year or two's time when the channel would be hopefully very well established and, create a whole kind of drama around it or anything like that. So, there's not really much more that I want to say other than, to give you a little bit of an insight into what I'm going to be doing now. Before I had kids, so my oldest daughter's 7 years old. Obviously, I actually met her mother a year before that, we got pregnant. She got pregnant, within like 2 months of our relationship starting, and it was extremely intense. The whole relationship was very intense, very fast paced, very quite wild. We were together. We weren't the most kind of sensible young people. Then obviously kids come along and it transforms everything. Everything kind of falls into place. And I felt like I wanted children at the time, but what I'm getting at is, and so did she. So we were ready for it. We wanted it to happen. It was a planned thing. But before I had kids and before I had that relationship, I had a drastically different kind of life. One that was very focused on spiritual, physical, and mental cultivation. And I lost that when once I entered into a relationship and my kids came along. I lost that almost completely, to like probably 80 to 90% of what I was doing, I was no longer able to do. And, it's taken me kind of this long, really, to realize and to get to the point now where, my kids are kind of old enough, they're a little bit more independent, and I'm living a lifestyle here. I'm in a situation now where there's no reason why I can't pick that back up again. I get enough time to myself through the week with what I'm doing with the channel as well, or what I want to do now with the channel, which is why I kind of need to redirect it back towards that, because I can't compartmentalize my life and just create a YouTube channel that's just about gaming, because that's a sliver. If my hand is a full fist of strength, gaming is like the tip of the pinky, really. It's a little bit of kind of an enjoyment. It's an egotistical enjoyment, something that I've enjoyed my whole life. There's so much more to my life that I need to be doing and paying attention to and cultivating. And so I've made a decision that that's what the channel's going to be about. Many people might not like it. It might not work. I don't know, but it's what I've got to do. If this is going to work, this is how it's going to have to be. And, I realized I could have kind of created a separate channel to do that way, to go that way, and leave this as it is and maybe just upload to this kind of occasionally. But dealing with 2 channels and then, trying to run 2 channels simultaneously, and it's a fragmentation, a compartmentalization of my life, which is, I don't want to have to do that. It's that compartmentalization that brings me to a point of collapse, because I'm too fragmented. I'm too all over the place. I can't be, I can kind of solely focus in one direction, but I have to ignore everything else going on. So I can only put so much energy into this, and then I have to focus in a different direction and think totally differently. And it's just, that is a recipe for mental health problems. And that's been a kind of ongoing issue my entire life, except with this kind of spiritual, physical, and mental cultivation aspect. Now, what I'm talking about now, I'm going to go into. I'm going to record a video over the next week of myself kind of living in a different way, cultivating in a different way, doing a lot of other kinds of exercises and activities, and bringing myself back to a point of, let's just call it holistic health, physical, mental, and spiritual health. And then I'll record that footage, and then I'll do a little bit of a talk and explaining to you a little bit about my history, my childhood, how I grew up, how I ended up doing what I did, and why I needed to do what I did, and how what I did helped me tremendously and gave me the insight that I needed to be able to function and to live in this world. I've been suicidal since I was about 14. I know that's a kind of taboo word. You're not really supposed to talk about that much, but I know YouTube's actually okay with people talking about their own experiences. And I've had a mind that wanted out basically since I was about 14. Not wanting to be here, not wanting to live. That was reaching a kind of critical mass, you might say, at 17. I was ready to fully implode when I was 17. Thankfully, when I was just about 18, I met someone, a monk, who introduced me to a lifestyle of spiritual discipline, and it absolutely gave me everything that I needed. And so I dedicated myself to that for a certain amount of years, living fully in that environment, absorbing the training, and have continued to practice since then, since leaving that environment. This was around about 2010. But to a lesser degree with regards to the intensity of it, because you kind of have to, live in the world as well. And then having kids, a lot of my ability to do the various disciplines and practices kind of fell by the wayside. But I learned a lot with regards to other elements too. So I've never fully given up on it, but I know absolutely that what I need now is to reinitialize a greater level of intensity with regards to the practice and those disciplines and that lifestyle. And so that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to be filling you in on a lot more of the details as to exactly what that is in about a week's time. Feel free, like I say, if you want to stick around to watch that, to see whether or not it's your cup of tea, then please do so. If not, then, like I say, I'll be releasing the odd bit of gaming content on the channel, similar to the stuff that I've already been creating. It just won't be a gaming focused channel. So yeah, that's basically the gist of everything that I've said. I think another element of it is like like the viewers. So I've started to get a little bit of a relationship with some of you. Some of you comment regularly, you say hello, and you put a little bit of input in on the channel with regards to the videos. And all I know is, and I can say this openly, like I feel like I'm going to need your help. In fact, it's a reality that I'm going to need your help with regards to this channel. I can create this channel. I want this to become a source of income and a path for me to get something that I need. I mean, I don't know if you can tell. I live in a caravan. This tiny little space here. Part of showing you more about my setup and my situation that I'm in is going to come in the video that I release in a week. But I have my kids here like 3 days a week. My 7-year-old daughter and my 5-year-old son. We sleep all of us sleep in a double bed. It's like a small double bed behind that curtain there, and it's my life's pretty good in my own kind of personal individual space. I've learned to tap into a great space of peace and contentment. But when it comes to my kids, I want to be able to take them places and give them their own bedrooms at the very least, and eventually like get a house, a rental. More of this as to where I'm at and what the reason why I'm here. Like I said, I'm going to explain it. But, I want this channel to become an avenue for that going forward, a source of income that allows me to basically pay the rent. And that's all I want. I don't want anything more. I don't want to be rich. I don't want to be famous. I just want to be able to support my kids and my lifestyle in a very basic necessity. In a basic way that takes care of the necessities, the essentials. That's all I'm about. It's why I can quite easily by myself live in a little caravan like this. So anyway, I am obviously going to need your help with that. And, I want to kind of create content that is supportive and uplifting and inspiring and positive and helpful and possibly even educational. There's a lot of what I'm going to get into going forward that is, I can say, will be quite unique. You won't see many other people doing what I do, and you certainly won't see a lot of other people doing what I do to the degree that I do it and in the way that I do it. So, that's not being big-headed. I have to watch that's an easy avenue to kind of get up your own arse and be really big-headed about what you do, but it's just the truth. What I do is quite unique. I have had an extremely unique life, and I have an extremely unique perspective on certain elements of life, physical, mental, and spiritual health and lifestyle. Anyway, more of that you're going to see if you watch the video in a week's time. So I was just kind of wanting to say, one, thank you so far to everyone who has supported the channel. And, I hope that going forward you do continue to be a part of the channel and that you will get something out of it and that it serves you in some way. And I'm more than happy to talk to people, to engage with people and engage with you about whatever, whatever you want. Another element I will touch upon, I think I'm getting towards the end of the video now, is the live stream side of things. So I've been applying a little bit of thought to how can I implement what I need in my own life and keep this channel keep driving this channel in the direction of growth and where it needs to be in order to serve the function that I want it to serve, as to help me get a house and pay my bills, you know. And I'm not talking about buying a house, by the way. I'm just talking about affording a rental. Maybe buying a house at some point in the future would be a thing, but for now I'm just talking about getting a rental where me and my kids can live, and I can have a bit of a better environment for the lifestyle that I want to live. But I don't think I'm going to be able to record videos and then sit at a computer and like edit videos to make certain kinds of content. Even just sitting down at this computer today now to record this video, you know, over the last couple of days, the idea of sitting down at the computer has become repulsive to my thoughts and my emotions. And playing a game, I've just got no heart for it right now. And you know, it's come quite quickly. It was only a few days ago that I was playing it, but I've felt this building up over the last month, and it's reached a kind of critical mass now where physically I'm struggling to kind of sit in the same posture. I need to get up and move. I need to be active. I need to be moving around. I need to be breathing, stretching, training, doing exercise, you know, getting back out in nature and stuff like that. So what I'm thinking is, and this is an experiment, I will be totally honest, I don't know whether or not this is going to work. This is quite a critical point for me as to whether or not I'm going to be able to make this happen. So in a week's time, I'll release a video. You will have a week of gaming content anyway on the channel. After I release that video, I will be initiating live streams, daily live streams, whereby I'm doing my lifestyle live, basically. It's the only way that I can see it going forward, because I could like record 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours a day of footage of me living the lifestyle that I need to live, to then, the next part is what I couldn't do. I can't go in and sit and edit and sit through 6, 7, 8, 9 hours of content and edit it and then turn that into a video and then talk over it sitting here watching that. It's the opposite of what I've been doing. Too much of that over the last years of my life. Too much technology, too much YouTube, too much involvement in the absolute insanity of society. 2020, 2021, the COVID era, all of that has kind of compounded the problem. So that's why I've decided to give live streaming a full-on go, and I'm talking about like basically live streaming pretty much the whole day. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do that. I will have to kind of navigate it one day at a time and see how it impacts me and see how if I'm able to keep up with that, and just navigate it. So that's going to be the kind of live stream element of it. I guess if that doesn't work, then I'll see whether or not there's something else I can do. Maybe just release videos sparingly on the channel, and spend whatever time I can kind of doing editing and recording and stuff. But I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to give live stream a go and just sort of at least test the water with it and see whether or not I can balance it out. So that's what's going to be happening from kind of next Monday. So that was actually half an hour. That's not too bad. Pretty similar to some of the other kind of update videos I've done, I think. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else. I'll probably pause here and just spend a minute kind of sitting with this and just kind of weigh up if I've covered everything that I need to cover. So I'm pretty sure I've covered everything. Nothing immediate is coming up, Anyway, all I would say is for me to really kind of get into the true detail of what I'm talking about and why I feel this is so essential. And I really do feel like if there's any of you out there that does struggle with mental health, or even just life in general, maybe you don't have the label, maybe you haven't been painted with the label at this point in your life. Maybe you have, maybe something like depression, anxiety, some sort of minor mental health problems, or even maybe the more extreme stuff, the spiritual content, I guess, stuff content, I was going to say, the spiritual stuff / content coming maybe of some kind of help and benefit to your life. And I can't really remember where I was going with that, but yeah, if if you want to know like the details of what I'm talking about and the depth of it, stick around, watch that video in a week, and you know, you'll get the full thread on why I need to do this, and two, how I've come to live a life without medication, without medical intervention and medical support, and the difficulty of that, the extreme difficulty of that, and the extreme kind of circumstances that I have been in and put myself in and experienced in life, some of which were beyond my control when I was a child and gave me my initial issues, let's say, that spurred me into inquiring into my mind and life itself, and what's the point of all of this? You know, why are we here? Why do we do what we do? And what can we do with it? What kind of life can we live? And how, I'll just kind of say one thing, how for some people, like myself, the options that you're given or that you're presented with in the modern era are so lacking as to be almost disgusting, is a word I would have used. And I wouldn't so much use that anymore. I have a bit more of a compassionate wisdom. But once upon a time, you know, I was so unhappy with my life and with the world and what I was told life was about, in comparison to the kind of personal experiences that I was having undercover in the background that nobody really knew about, that completely, let's say, tainted my perception or changed my perception of what life is, which nobody else seemed to understand or know about. It just, you know, I was in a space of extreme conflict. So where was I going with that? I can't really remember, but it was somewhere along the lines of, you know, if you want to know the ins and outs of all of that, just stick around, watch the video in a week. And I think I've basically covered everything that I needed to cover for now. I need to spend a week reconnecting, letting go, and reinitializing what I need. Simple as that. And so that's what I'm going to do. And I hope you'll join me for the revelation in a week's time. You know, if you want to know the full details as to exactly what I'm talking about. And if not, it's been nice having you, and I hope you go on finding the gaming content that you really want to see. And maybe you will check in for the gaming videos as they do get released in the future, because, you know, I really do love gaming, and for me it's a way of putting down the kind of intensity of the lifestyle, just letting go and pretending and immersing yourself in a virtual world for a little while and playing as a kind of character. And, you know, I think it's the same reason that a lot of people love games. That's another reason that I love games. But for me, it's just, like I say, it's just a sliver of the big picture, and I need to be absolutely prioritizing the big picture before I can take care of the sliver or enjoy the sliver, because too much of anything is not a good thing. Anyway, I'm rambling and kind of getting a little bit off track. That was the whole message. That was the whole point of this video. And I hope you guys are doing all right. And this is good. This is a good thing. I'm ready for this, and I'm going to go get it. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me. I do hope I will see you in another video in about a week's time. Goodbye for now.